All right, you ready? Why don't we just start? Just tell me who you are.
All right. I'm 97 years old. I've been living at a retirement center for 15 years.
Okay, stop. You're 94.
What did I say?
97.
Oh, God. Can you erase that?
Yes, we can.
I'm not able to say anything. Okay, I'll start over.
Okay, you start over.
My parents, Charlie A. Selle and Lily Carpenter Selle, were married December the 25th, 1913. My father was 23, my mother was 17, and I was the first of 10 children to be born to this couple. I started to school before I was to be 6 in February. Before I started to school, my mother had already taught me to print and to read the ABCs. I always had a great thirst for knowledge, so school days were my happiest days. My graduating class consisted of 10 people. I was the valedictorian, but I had very little competition from 9 other people. There was a private school sponsored by the Northern Methodist Church a few miles away from me. It was a very good school. They added 2 years that they referred to as higher education, which meant it would be a junior college. So I was a member of the first graduating class there. And eventually the school I attended is now a university. I felt fortunate to be able to attend the school because in my wildest imaginations, while I was getting ready to graduate from high school, I yearned for the opportunity, which I thought I'd never have, to go to college. And my father enrolled me, and I knew nothing about it till about 2 weeks before time to go. He was the pillar of the church. He built the fires every Sunday morning, always present for grave digging and funerals. Church was his second home. He was so set on education. Sold a pig to buy my graduation ring. He would have a hole in the bottom of his shoe and put a piece of cardboard to keep it from leaking through in order that we'd have shoes that were whole. I mean, self-sacrifice was his middle name. It was in 1933. There was a river not too far from our place, and the only way you crossed it was by a ferry. It was decided to put a bridge across the river, and he was employed working on the bridge. There was a huge cave-in, a lot of huge stones, and all of that debris caved in. I was told up as far as his neck. The pelvis had been crushed, and a number of vertebrae with it. He lived through the operation, was in his room for an hour or so, and the nurse had just left, and I began to notice that he seemed to be breathing more shallow, sort of gasping. I called the nurse, and he was dead in about 15 or 20 minutes. So he died of a heart attack. So I had to come home and tell my grandmother about it. And that was hard, very hard. She said, "Lord of mercy, what are these children going to do without a father?" With all of his effort for me to get schooling, then he died in January before I graduated in May. And that broke my heart.